From Tally to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, look out! The Noles are healthy and whole heading into ACC play. Just how important is that? Rivalry trophies, cool or not cool? And we're generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Warchant BOGO. Buy one, get one free. Warchant BOGO. Vitamin Energy is synergistically formulated to get the vitamins and the energy you need all in one balanced shot. Not even 2 fluid ounces. 260 milligrams of all-natural caffeine packed in here. The all-natural caffeine gives you that proper level of absorption, or rather, proper level of absorption throughout the day. No sugar crash. And then vitamins and nutrients to help out with your focus, help out with your mood. All in one little bottle. VitaminEnergy.com. warchantbogo, your promo code. Give it a shot. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Come join us for 1 week. Try it out for only $1 and have access to a free membership for a whole year to The Athletic. That's still going on, everybody. It's time. It's time. The Noles 3-0. We got prime time kickoff for Miami next week. You can feel it already. Down in my plums almost. Corey Clark here as usual. Corey Clark, how are you, my friend? Senior, lead writer for warchant.com. BT Dub.
I'm wonderful, Aslan. Thank you so much for asking. How are you?
I'm since you're asking me, mildly concerned. Just mildly concerned. So when I came home from interviews on Monday, my girlfriend's dog, Violet, sweetheart of a dog, lover. I wasn't a big dog person ever growing up. I love this dog. I would die for it. I think I left a Kleenex on the sofa, and it was just a regular Kleenex. I blew my nose into it. Nothing gross, everybody. Relax. And I came home, and, it was shredded. And I'm like, this seems like only half of a Kleenex that's shredded. I wonder where the other half is. So I searched on AI, and then AI is like, oh, this could be really bad. And it's like, godly. I think she's going to be all right. So I jinxed myself. I don't want to kill this dog. I didn't want to kill the other dog either, and I didn't kill the other dog. But I'm a little bit concerned. So this might be a weird show. I might have to run out in the middle of it and go perform CPR or something to the dog.
Why is the dog with you?
Because she, Abby, my fiance, is in Italy with her mother and one of her best friends and her best friend's mother. They made this trip over a year ago before she even knew I existed on the planet. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's fun. That's a good time.
Yes. So,
well, let's hope the dog survives the week.
Let us hope. Let us hope indeed. What are your thoughts, Corey? I know we got to talk about the Virginia game, but just, it felt like obviously Miami needed to get past Florida, but we also need to get past Virginia to maximize the juice for this game. But ESPN has gone ahead and pushed their chips into the middle of it, giving them a 7:30 primetime slot. We still don't know what game day is going to be, where it's going to be. I would be shocked. File that in your Aslan's Wrong About Things folder. But if, Reese and the gang aren't here next week in Tallahassee, but the 7:30 kickoff, tea leaves reading nicely for an epic weekend next week.
I mean, you think about it, even if Florida State loses on Friday night, what do they drop to? 17?
Yeah,
16?
Worst,
I don't know. 20? Miami will still be number 2 in the country, first road game, and it's Florida State, who's still proven to be good. So, yeah, it would be crazy. I also don't really care. I hope you guys get your game day experience, and it's cool that the country will be watching Tallahassee and all that comes with it. But what I think is a much bigger deal is the night game, which seemed like that was heading in that direction anyway. But the fan base had a 3:30 game, a noon game, and a 3:30 game. Now you get a night game with the Canes coming to town. A lot of times you don't play them at night in this stadium. Probably count on one hand the times you played Miami at night in this stadium since I've been coming to Florida State football games. So that's going to be a really fun atmosphere, regardless of what happens on Friday night. But if Florida State comes in undefeated too, I can't even imagine what this place is going to be like. Probably starting Thursday night when people start getting into town. But absolutely for 48 hours or so, or 40 hours from Friday mid-afternoon, mid-morning to Sunday at 1 a.m., Tallahassee's going to be out of control.
All right, to news and notes from Monday's interviews, not press conference. They're on a short week. We think they did some kind of abbreviated walkthrough on Sunday. Monday was a full-on practice. They're usually off on Mondays during a regular game week, so we think they probably just did like an amended, shorter, abridged, whatever you want to use, truncated Sunday walkthrough. Went back at it Monday, getting ready for it. I don't know. I mean, again, it's words, but it's coming from a guy that seemingly has kind of maybe figured some things out, gotten his groove back. But his opening comment, first couple questions to Mike Norvell on Monday, just about getting on the road, first road test, and he mentioned a couple times now that you're 3-4 weeks into a season, there's tape on you out there. You got to know your vulnerabilities, or else you're going to get exposed. Said he liked the way they were fighting to get better. Just it seems like whatever concern, and I think it's a very few amount. I think there's more people out there that think Florida State's going to absolutely smoke Virginia than there are people that are legitimately concerned Florida State could drop it. But Mike Norvell giving you a lot of ammo for thinking that this team is going to be dialed in and taking this very, very seriously, as they should.
Yeah, and Gus did too. Tony White did too. I've been kind of asking. I've asked it 3 or 4 times about how you keep a team like this grounded, and I'm trying to be kind to the last 2 teams they played. But what I'm intimating in those questions that I ask is like, we all know the last 2 teams you played were basically glorified high school teams. Like you were going to win when they were scheduled. That was not competitive. Your practices are more competitive. Your scout team is probably more competitive, quite frankly, than what you went up against these last 2 weeks. So how do you compartmentalize that and remember, we ran for 500 yards, but that wasn't an ACC team. That was the worst Division I team in the country, and before that was a team that was even worse than them. So how do you not get too big ahead? How do you stay grounded and realize you haven't accomplished anything? And it really does. It sounds like that's just been the message throughout. And Gavin Sawchuk, again, I don't know if he wants to have a history in politics. I kind of don't know why anybody would want to be in politics anymore. But I would vote for that dude. I don't even know his platform. He is just he is a likable,
plain-spoken, down-to-earth, grounded guy.
Absolutely. And so when I asked him that question, he's like, look, our whole goal this season wasn't just to win the first 3 games. I was like, yeah, that's a great answer. Like, you have accomplished nothing, really. No. Literally nothing. You beat Alabama. That is an accomplishment. If you fall off a cliff, nobody's going to care about what you did in September. In the late September, you led the country in scoring and yards. If you don't keep this up, so I do think they got. I think they have that message. I do think they realize they have a ton left to prove. I don't think they're going into Friday night like they're the 1999 Florida State Seminoles. I just don't think it. I don't think they think they're the 2013 Seminoles. I don't even think they're the 2020. They think right now they're as good as the 22 or 23 Florida State Seminoles. They have accomplished nothing, and the way they talk anyway lends itself. And I think it comes from the top down, especially with the coach and those 2 coordinators. They're not going to let those guys feel happy, right? There's not going to be a ton of I think they get lauded. I do think they get applauded and get praised by their coaches. But it's Gus Malzahn and Tony White, man. There is also a lot of challenging that goes on, and they're not going to be taking any bows because they're 3-0. I just don't think that will be permeating this program. They know the biggest game of their season to date is the one on Friday night. And that's not just the cliche, the biggest one is our next one. Yeah. It's not that. It's because it's a conference game, and it's a road conference game against what could be a good conference opponent. It's an enormous game if you're trying to get to the playoffs. It matters as much, or if not more, than what you did to open the season. This game coming up Friday night, and it seems like they've gotten that message. They might lose. They might play horrible. I don't know. But I don't think it's because they're going to be taking this team lightly.
No. We also spoke to Micahi Danzy. Well, actually, no, before we get to Micahi Danzy, they're going to be pretty whole, at least for maybe even more so than they were against Alabama. Sounds like Squirrel White's progressing along nicely. Randy Pittman as well. Kevin Juju Wynn. Sounds like he might be coming down with a questionable designation for the game, but maybe a little bit on the more optimistic side. Something that we really haven't kind of factored in because, again, the last 2 games, it doesn't matter if you were whole or not, but the fact that they'll have seemingly all the weapons that they had against Alabama, and which was a game that they had an offensive explosion, much similar to these last few games, but it was against a much tougher team. So that's why I didn't maybe look as crazy slot number machine numbers on the scoreboard. But that's kind of a development. It feels like, yeah, Corey, that Squirrel will be back if Randy Pittman's back as well, and then LaWayne McCoy's good to go, and then if Kevin Wynn's also good to go, I mean, this is gives you more good feelings going into your road opener.
Well, yeah, and first and foremost, he was asked about Castellanos, and he said that he was able to do some work on Monday during Monday's practice and that he doesn't foresee that being a problem, but they'll continue to monitor it. I would assume if he's on the injury report at all, which I guess, when does that come out, Aslan? Wednesday or Thursday for a Friday game?
Was it 40? I think 48 hours. So yeah, I guess.
So probably Wednesday night is we'll get the first injury report. I'm going ahead and assume that Pittman, Squirrel White, and Castellanos, if they're on there at all, which they might be, at least Pittman and Squirrel White they will be designated as probable. And it sounds like Kevin Wynn would be questionable. Chase Lofton is out. It looked like a hamstring. I'm not quite sure what he did, but it was a non-contact cutting to the sideline on that throw from Sperry, which I think was his only incompletion, was the one where the receiver blew a tire on what looked like another really good throw to the sideline. But, yeah, I think Castellanos close to 100%, Randy Pittman and Squirrel White close to 100%. To go along with McCoy being back, and then obviously you still got Deuce and Lucas and Danzy and the rest. Yeah, that's as whole as they're going to be. I don't think we have an idea yet how important Randy Pittman is going to be to this football team. I think Alabama was a month ago. He made a couple of big catches in that game, a first down catch on a third down throw. Also made a crushing block on one of the big runs. And I think he is a potential NFL type tight end. Certainly I think he can make an NFL roster, and you can't just diminish that or dismiss it. That's a big deal. Randy Pittman, I think, is a really big addition back to this offense. Because as much as we like Amari and Landon Thomas, they're not as mature. They're not as physically mature. They're not as I don't think they're as good yet. Clearly, they don't start. He does. He's the starter. They're not as good as this tight end right now, and you're getting your best tight end back, theoretically, hopefully. He'll be back on Friday. Your quarterback should be good to go. And you're getting what we think, Aslan, right, is your second best wide receiver back. Mm-hmm. That's you. And look, it's not just for this game Friday. That's big moving forward. Like, there are going to be games where Squirrel White kind of, is a big difference maker, is a huge difference maker. Maybe it's Friday night. Maybe it's the Saturday night after that. But Squirrel White's a big deal. Randy Pittman's a big deal. And obviously the quarterback is the biggest deal of all, and it sure sounds like he'll be good to go as well.
All right, Randy Pittman, likely probable NFL tight end. Is Micahi Danzy probable, likely NFL wide receiver or U.S. Olympian?
Yeah, so I asked him that. We've already written so much on Danzy, and then we get him to interview him. So I guess we'll have to write something else on this kid. Hopefully he keeps doing it. But what's interesting to me about Danzy is he ran a 44 flat in the 400, which again is an ACC record.
How'd the run go the other night?
She wouldn't go with me, so we didn't do it. I might have to do it today. She's in Raleigh for work right now, so maybe I'll just go time myself today running around. I'm gonna guess. Literally, I was thinking about it. It's like running around a lap full speed, so a quarter mile. I feel like I could do a quarter mile in you're probably like 1:15, and I would throw up probably. I'm not used to run. I run a lot, but I'm not used to running like that.
We need instant IVs afterwards.
I
stretch. My hammies got my hammies.
I feel because that's a 5-minute mile. I can't run a 5-minute mile, but I might be able to run the equivalent of that for a fourth of it. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and say this now. I think Danzy would beat me if we ran the 400. In fact, that'd be a fun thing. Like if I got a 100-meter head start, would he be able to
watch him track you down?
Yeah, to watch me track me down like the freeze at the Braves games. Yeah. So I asked him because when you run a 44 flat and you're the national leader in an event as a true freshman, in the NCAA, like the college track system, where all the best in the world come to run, even if they go, except for Usain Bolt, I know didn't run college track, but most of these guys do. They run college track, or a lot of them do. If you've got the best ever time in the ACC as a freshman at 44 flat, you were on a trajectory to be an Olympian, to be one of the 3 or 4 best in the world. Because he's 19. He's not even as big and strong, as mature as he's going to be. When he does that, this past, whenever he started doing that, January, February, we started breaking all these records. It's like, man, and then you look back at what he did last season on the football field. My real genuine question was like, I wonder how close he came to quitting football.
Yeah.
Because, not that he didn't believe in himself necessarily, but like, he was on the worst offense in the country last year and got 3 touches. So there could be a crisis of confidence. Like, man, how good am I? I can't even get on the field in front of these guys. Like, they don't even have a package in for me. I know I'm young. I'm a true freshman, but I can't get on the field for this. Then what is my future in college? Meanwhile, at this other sport, I might be one of the best in the effing world. So maybe I should concentrate on this full time. But I think obviously Gus Malzahn, talking to him, meeting with him, assuring him, along with Norvell, yes, you are a part of our plans. You're going to move to this different position, but we do envision you having a role in this offense. That helped a lot. And also just an unwavering self-belief. Because, yes, he could be an Olympian. He absolutely right now could say, I'm going to go be an Olympian. But as he said on Monday, he also wants to play in the NFL. And I don't know that he can do both. I know which one pays better. And if somebody would have told me Micahi Danzy would be, a future NFL player this time 3 months ago, I'd be like, yeah, man, stick with track. You've proven in that. Yeah. But now he's proven he is a legitimate weapon at this level. He is one of the best, the most impactful, through a month, college football players in the country. I mean, Aslan,
33 yards per touch.
He leads them in rushing.
Does he?
He's the leading rusher on the Florida State football team.
How many
He's
carries?
the second leading receiver. He has 9 touches on the season. And he is the leading rusher on the team and the second leading receiver on the team with 9 touches. He had 1 run against Alabama that went, I think, for -3. All other 8 plays have gone for at least like 30. 3 of them have gone for 40 or above. Like, this is incredible what's happening. Again,
5
the
rushes,
opponent's nuts.
173 yards. My gosh.
That's nuts, right? That's nuts.
He's averaging 57. That's per game. That's not per touch. Sorry.
Yeah, but he's averaging 33 yards per touch.
Yeah.
And that does not include returns of any kind because he's not returning kicks or punts or anything. So, anyway, the point being, he absolutely has a future in this sport. It'll be very interesting as he moves. And he was very upfront and transparent about it when I asked him. He's like, man, this is new to me too. I don't know how to pursue both right now. But he is proving that he can play. I think he's already proven that he can play at the next level through 3 games. Just look, he's going to get better. He's not going to catch everything. He's not going to score a touchdown every time he touches the ball. There will also be a dip in production. That's understood. But he has proven his ceiling is to the point where, yes, I absolutely think he can play on Sundays. I also absolutely believe he can run in the Olympics. So it's going to be really fascinating to follow his career because it's not like Kermit Whitfield was a really he wasn't a track phenom, but he was close coming up. I think he was Marvin Bracey's cousin, right?
I think so.
They were related somehow. I think they were cousins. But Marvin Bracey was like a track phenom coming up that happened to play football. Well, he didn't do this. He never accomplished this. Kermit actually had some plays his freshman year on that 13 team. A lot of plays, including a really, really memorable one out in Pasadena. That never materialized into anything substantial on the football field. His best plays were the first 14 of his career. I don't see Danzy like that. I think Danzy is a guy, and also Kermit Whitfield could have been an ACC track star. Marvin Bracey was. I think Marvin Bracey ended up going to the Olympics. I can see Danzy. I just can see Danzy doing both. He's had so much immediate success at track. But, man, what he's doing on the football field right now, he has become a legitimate weapon. I can't wait to hear Tony Elliott, the head coach at Virginia, whenever he does his weekly press conference this week, when he's talking about what he's seen on film from Florida State, to bring up number 19. Because if he's not the first person he talks about, that'll probably be Tommy. He's got to be one of the top 2 or 3. And who would have imagined that 5 weeks ago? Danzy's an absolute weapon, man. This is crazy what he's doing.
What you should be doing, everybody, is heading to the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Not immediately, but, at your earliest convenience. Later tonight, trivia starting at 7 p.m. Thursday night, bingo night, 4 rounds, $250 in cash money up for grabs in each single round. Daily lunch specials from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Weekday happy hours from 4 to 7 p.m. and then all day long Sunday at the CP. If you're not going to be in Charlottesville with Ira and Corey, go to the CP. Watch the game with all the Noles in town. That Vegas wall of TVs is going to be on ESPN. And then if there's anything else of consequence going on, it'll be on one of the other 30-plus TVs they've got in the establishment. Delicious food, ice-cold drinks, plenty to do, darts, billiards, a jukebox, and obviously hanging out with your Florida State brethren and sisterin. What is the female version of brethren? Or is brethren...
brethren... I don't know that brethren is like a male
gender,
or female specific, is it? I don't know.
I don't know. Go hang out with everybody at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. They'll welcome you with open arms. With arms wide open. CPTallybar.com, the website, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com, warchantbogo, your promo code. We go to Spoon Knoll 77. Pretty straightforward question here, Corey. Is this team special? And the more you go on warchant.com, the more you hang out on our YouTube page, you see the comments. There's a lot of people, man. I think we got a guy over on Warchant that started a thread. Is this the best FSU offense ever? I mean, there's a lot of people that are buying into what their eyes have seen the last 2 weeks regarding this offense. But again, can they translate that to a road game against a team that's got film on you? Or after this, a Miami game a Miami team that's been weathered throughout its season, and this is not the opener for them. It's a crazy conversation, but it's one worth having, and it's one that I think is going to be generating discussion, and it's going to be sparked by Cummins. Corey, the cameras are on. We just simply need a hearty push of a button to get this party started.
And then a little...
People give it, what's with the sound effects from Corey? It's incredible. Keep it up, Corey. We appreciate it. It is generating discussion. It's sparked by Cummins. Give them a follow on Instagram. It's all one word, Cummins Lifestyle. You're going to see all the awesome things you can do when you have Cummins owning products in your arsenal when it comes to going out on the road on your RV, out on the road in your boat, which is technically not the road. It's the water as on your boat.
It's like a blue road.
Yeah.
It's a blue watery road.
Great blue horizon. And then obviously the portable generators. Each single weekly winner gets into a monthly drawing for a Cummins gift bag. Every weekly winner gets entered into the end-of-year drawing for a portable Cummins generator, and they're also going to throw in a portable power station as well. So what are you waiting for? Got to be a member of warchant.com, though. Simple question, Corey. We're all about this. Everyone knows the way to my heart, and that's just a real straightforward question. I want to answer this question, Corey, before I let you go here with a question myself, and this isn't, I'm not being quibbly here, but just why do we need to know right now? I think about 2013, part of me in hindsight, Corey, was a little bit disappointed that I didn't go fully all in either in the preseason or after the Pitt game, right? After the Pitt game, you're like, wow, this quarterback's pretty good. I think it was after the Boston College game where they kind of roared back. You're like, man, they're good. They're really, really good. And it all worked out. I'm not saying wait till November to say they're special, but let's at least get to October, right? Before we start really kind of pondering this question, because what's the rush, man? If they keep winning games, everything's going to take care of itself. That's kind of what I wonder, but are they special, Corey?
Yeah, I mean, your answer is the right one. I think a better question right now, if we're not going to, because we don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say this team is special and they end up going 7-5. I don't know. They look like they have some special parts, though, which is kind of what you want to see. Before the season, I talked a lot about what worried me or gave me concern. There was the depth up front, and it's okay, we know they have some good college football players. Do they have any great college football players? Now we're only 3 games in, but you look at the ceiling of some of these guys. I think Deuce could be a great wide receiver. I think Earl Little could be a great safety. I think Darrell Jackson probably is a great defensive lineman. I know he's not putting up big numbers, but he's getting double teamed and he's doing a really good job. He was According to Tony White, he was the FSU defensive MVP this past week because he eats double teams. And Micahi Danzy might be special, and the quarterback might be a great college football player. Maybe Sawchuk is. Heck, he scores 2 touchdowns a game. They have a lot of players that are proving early on to be just more than good. And that's what you need. You need NFL talent. You also just need some game changers, some game wreckers. And I think that's there. I think they're showing it on both sides of the ball. They have some depth and some good players in that department. Jerry Wilson, maybe another guy that is a great college football player. So much more to prove for all these guys, though, right? So that's kind of where I am, is because there'll be some tough games. There'll be a game. It could be this Friday night in Charlottesville. Almost certainly will be the next Saturday in Doak, where it'll get to let's say junk cutting time in the second half of a close game, and you need somebody to go be Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman beat Clemson for you with those catches, the catch in overtime. He was not open. That's just a great play. He kind of beat Miami for you with the punt return and then his touchdown in that game. He didn't do much in that game, but he did that. You kind of need your special players to go make plays. And it looks to me like Florida State might not be a special team yet. They might not ever be a special team, but they have the ingredients to be one, because I think they've had more than just 1 or 2 guys prove that they could be special football players, which is what you need to have a special season. And they might have a special coaching staff.
I don't want to be too hokey, but just
right, hey, we're hokey. We can be hokey on this. This,
I can't believe we have to seriously consider this question. Right? I mean, after what happened last year, and just, I guess, for what's going on right now, I mean, there's some level of special. I mean, to all come together and listen. There's other programs that are doing something similar to this, right? Mendoza's at Indiana. That kid was great at Cal. He's gone to Indiana. They haven't missed a beat. I'm sure his ability to meld and bond with his teammates, special, and look how they're playing. I don't want to put too much of a bright light on Miami, but Carson Beck was kind of left for dead, right? Georgia really wasn't clamoring to have him back, and they kind of cast him aside. Miami's all right, man, we'll give you a boatload of money to come play quarterback for us. And I'm sure the way they've all come together, they think they're a special locker room. So this is not a unique kind of feeling, I'm sure, in the Florida State locker room. But from the outside of the locker room, Corey, to bring all these guys in as 11 different starters. I mean, Miami's offensive line is pretty much all holdovers from last year. Their running backs are holdovers. A lot of the pieces on defense, Mesidor and Bain, those were guys that were there last year. But, man, Florida State, so much of it's brand new. So to be able to look this good, to do what they did against Alabama, and who knows, even if Alabama's an 8-4 team, what you did against Alabama, to where you pretty much dominated them other than a 5-minute lull in the third quarter, and that's a level of specialness. I mean, now, is it national title, one of the best teams ever? I don't know, but to give everybody this great hope this early in the season, they're doing something that's special. I don't know if the team is, but they're doing something that's special right now.
And one of the ingredients that they could lead for them to be a special team, and it's what I talked about and wrote about the 13 team after that Clemson win, what they did to NC State immediately the following week, showed you exactly how special the personality and the identity of that team was. And maybe this team has a little bit of that. The fact that it's not just that they beat East Texas A&M 100-0 or whatever it was. They came out and played like it was Alabama. They played like it was Alabama on the other sideline. That, to me, was a sign of what could be a special team. Again, it's too early. And we were not here in 2013 thinking that was a special team. After 3 weeks, you knew you had a special quarterback, but that's kind of all you knew. That Boston College game, they gave up 34 points. So you didn't know what this team was going to end up being. But they were starting to show signs. There were bricks being laid down. There were some building blocks. And I think you've seen that. You've seen them put away a good team. You've seen them handle their business and take it seriously and be mature against bad teams. And then you've seen what could be really special talent at multiple positions. Now it's just a matter of there's the next test. Great teams don't just win on the road, they cover on the road, Aslan. Let's see what this thing looks like on the road. Let's see what it looks like against a team of equal talent, which Miami has. Those are the next steps. How do you handle if you can handle this test and beat Virginia, that is another box that you get to check off the list, that you can handle road games against good teams. The next block to check off the list is, how do you handle the hype that's going to come with that game? Because, yeah, you could say there was hype with Alabama, but it was hope. It wasn't hype. You hope to be competitive. You hope to maybe pull up an upset. In that game, there is going to be nothing but hype in one of the biggest games of the season in all of college football, not just for Florida State, all of college football. Millions upon millions of people will be watching. How do you handle that? That 2013 team handled it pretty well in Death Valley. That's the mark of – there's so many things you have to check off, for me anyway, to qualify as special. They've got too many to check off for me to now call them that now after 3 weeks, but they're showing the signs. The bricks look good so far. They're laying a solid foundation to perhaps be special.
Man, Ohio State lost 2 games last year. Were they special? So that's also another thing, too, where it's like, man, just win games, man. Just win enough at the right time, and we'll see how it all goes out. I've been looking off cameras all the time because the dog has been
I was wondering how much I was boring you. What's the dog doing?
Puppy. She just left, though. I was going to bring her on camera. She's fine. She's alive still, everybody.
Nobody needs that, Aslan. I'm not grabbing either one of these dumb cats that my wife has here and showing them to the camera.
All right. We've generated discussion. Thanks to Spoon Noles 77. He'll be entered into the monthly drawing for September's winner for a Cummins gift bag. And then we'll do the end of year drawing, and he'll also be entered into it as well. Check out Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. Again, the own line of products, portable generators, portable power stations, boat generators, RV generators, even whole home backup power supplies. So Cummins has got you covered. Give them a follow on Instagram. Also, people clamoring to know, Corey.
By the way, Brethren is male only.
Okay.
I just looked it up. It was a religious order of males. The opposite or antonym of Brethren is sistren.
Sistren, there we go.
Or sisterin. Sistren.
Okay.
So sistren.
There we go.
All right. I never knew that. And I bet most of you didn't either.
No.
So you're welcome.
What I need an answer to is this, and I don't know if you have the answer to it. I know I don't. Our guy Lake Jackson Birdman and Dirty South Knoll 850 both have pretty much the same question. We'll go to Lake Jackson Birdman. Would Warchant like to present the Jefferson-Eppes Trophy to the winner of this week's game? Serious question. It is in the possession of the Tallahassee Historical Society, who would love to see it resurrected. Dirty South Knoll is also asking, I'm old enough to remember when we used to play for the Jefferson-Eppes Trophy. Do you know if FSU and Virginia still play for it? And if we don't, why did we stop? This might be something that requires some more research down the line for later in the week. But it's interesting because Lake Jackson Birdman says it's in the possession of the Tallahassee Historical Society, which if that's a real thing, it doesn't add up because the last time these two teams played was 2019 in Charlottesville, and Florida State didn't win. So theoretically, Virginia should be in possession of it right now, Corey. But yeah, let's bring trophies back. I know this one doesn't have the same pull as the old Oaken bucket or Paul Bunyan's axe or the Victory Bell, but I like trophies. Let's get this thing back in circulation.
It's just dumb.
Oh,
it's
Corey.
dumb. So it was created by the former FSU president, Sandy D'Alembert, I think is how you pronounce it. He wore the bow tie, very famous. Also famously didn't let Randy Moss join the football team. But either way, he created it after Virginia became the first team to beat Florida State in 1995, and it became the Jefferson-Eppes Trophy where they would play for it. It is a trophy. They've had 19 meetings since that happened. I think, Florida State apparently is 14-4, but Virginia did win the last one. And according to Wikipedia, they currently possess it. It's in Charlottesville. Don't know if that's true or not. What I think is dumb about it, though, is who is the Epps in this? Mary Jefferson-Eppes, the mother of Francis Epps?
I think it was Francis Epps, but it's just a shot in the dark.
Her death in 1804 prompted Abigail Adams to thaw relations between the Adams and Jefferson families by writing her condolences to Thomas Jefferson. Francis was only 3 years old when his mother died, and had no memory of her. So that's how the Epps, I guess that's the connection between Epps and Jefferson. The problem is like it's Jefferson's grandson, Francis W. Epps, was the two-time mayor of Tallahassee. Yeah. But come on, man. Like that's like
Thomas Jefferson's grandson, man. TJ, man. The dude. Tommy J.
But it's like when you're talking about famous last names, the difference between Jefferson and Epps is like the difference between Florida State's football success and Virginia's football success. There's not a compare. It's not the Jefferson.
Do we just call it the
John
Jefferson
Adams
Cup
Trophy?
Should we call it the Jefferson Cup then, or something?
I mean, Epps. It's just maybe Epps is a great family. Did a lot of great things for Tallahassee. I have no idea, but it's not anywhere close to the resonance and reverence that Thomas Jefferson's name has. That's all I'm saying. So they're not equals. Thomas Jefferson and Epps aren't equals, much like Florida State and Virginia aren't equals. So they should not be playing for a trophy. Because, who are the other ones? Wisconsin and Minnesota?
Yeah.
Indiana, those are equal programs, right?
Yeah.
Who plays for the old wooden bucket?
I think that's Indiana and
Illinois,
maybe
Indiana, Purdue. Again, those programs are even, and they don't ever win trophies. So go ahead and pick up a dumb axe, because you're never going to hold a crystal trophy above your heads. So go get your dumb axe or your oaken barrel or whatever else. But Florida State actually plays for real trophies. They don't need one that was made just 30 years ago. And it's not like they've been playing for it for 100 years. It was created after Warwick Dunn was stopped at the half-yard line 30 years ago. So I say, let's not worry about it anymore. Apparently, we don't even know where it is. We're being told it's in Tallahassee. Wikipedia is saying it's in Charlottesville. I know that Florida State used to legitimately keep it in a closet. They certainly didn't put it in their trophy case. So let's just be done with it, if we aren't already. Also, they haven't played them in 6 years. What kind of trophy is between programs that play twice a decade?
Lots of teams have
Fair question, though.
Yeah, lots of teams have the victory bell. UCLA and USC, Duke, North Carolina. The old Oaken Bucket is between Indiana and Purdue.
There you go.
Paul Bunyan's axe is Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Yeah, two teams that don't win anything. So fight it out over the axe. That's awesome.
I know, but like when we beat the Gators and you're parading around the Gator head, it's cool. I don't know, it'd be cool to have like a trophy. I don't know. All right, whatever. No fun. Corey doesn't want any fun in this world.
I mean, take the Cavalier mascot's head and parade that. I'm all about that. You go parade with anything you want. Just a made-up trophy between one of the founding fathers of this country, whose name reverberates around the planet, and then Francis Epps. Doesn't add up. Doesn't jive.
Corey said Warwick Dunn was down at the half-yard line. S. Quinn 67 disagrees vehemently. Big week for the Noles. My question, what is the worst, biggest, most impactful in-season loss to a non-rival in FSU football history? In 95, Dunn was in. So
he wasn't. It hurts that he lost the ball. He lost control of the ball, which it was a great hit by whoever that safety was that came up. He's very, very close. And if that game was played today, they would have looked at that review for probably 45 minutes. It was very close. I don't think he was in because the ball gets jarred loose as he's diving. I can tell you this, Warwick Dunn was not going to be denied of that end zone if he didn't have to corral the ball. You know what I mean? Like, if he was just wrestling and getting to reach out, he would have gotten in there. But the ball got knocked loose right as he's diving for the score. Great play call, by the way, I thought. Really good play call. Just didn't work out. Yeah. Mark Richt didn't have a good day that day. They threw 70 times. They had Warwick Dunn and Rock Preston, clearly an overmatched Virginia defense, and they threw the ball 70 times. Not great. But I mean, Virginia, not in 1995 because they ended up losing to Florida anyway.
I mean, like Alabama 2017? In terms of like
no,
most
I'm thinking about a game
loss. Like North Carolina
that
2000.
Was
like NC State 90, but they end up going to a national title game later that season. It's just they haven't lost to many non-rivals in the middle of a season. It feels like that have derailed like big time aspirations.
I would say the one that comes to mind.
Sorry, Carolina 2016. Final answer. I apologize.
Okay, yeah, no, you still weren't going to win anything that year. So 1990, they lost to Auburn in a game they dominated. That if they win that game, they were up 17-7, and then the crazy they tried a fumble Ruski where an Auburn guy just fell on the ball because he was too tired to play. Literally fell on the ball. Casey Weldon took a 20-yard sack on a 4th and 4 because he kept stumbling backwards. Auburn ends up kicking a game-winning field goal. If they win that game in 1990, because of the way that season played out, with Georgia Tech and Colorado splitting the national championship, Colorado had a loss and a tie. Georgia Tech had a tie. If Florida State's only loss had been on the road at Miami and they had won that Auburn game and they closed with a 7-game winning streak or whatever it was, I think they win the national championship. So I'm going to either say that one or the year before losing to Southern Miss. If they beat Brett Favre to open that season and end with an 11-1 record, I think they might have had a chance at a national championship that year too. So those are my two answers. Because they beat Miami that year, Aslan. They beat Miami, but Miami still won the national championship in '89 because they only had one loss and Florida State had two. If Florida State beats Southern Miss, and the only other loss they have is at home to Clemson before they turned it around, and they finished with a 10-game winning streak, including a win over Miami, they would have been the national champs in '89. So I'm saying Southern Miss in '89 or Auburn in '90. Final answer. And great answers, too, by the way.
You're right. Upstate SC Knoll. Wake up, gentlemen.
It's also an old man answer, though.
No,
I get it. I like that you keep it more recent because, people get tired of the 80s all the time. I apologize for that, but it's just good. Going back into the history. It's 2016 North Carolina was a bummer, too.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put yourself back in these seasons and think about it. Like the 89 season, you start off and you shoot yourself in the foot like that, but then you end up tearing off all these wins and – in this day and age, you'd be fine. You'd be in the playoff, and you'd probably be favored to win the whole damn thing. But back then, it was, it was catastrophic to lose those kind of games. But those teams were still fantastic, and they still played the whole season. They played the bowl games too. Everybody, believe it or not,
they did. That's right. I remember all those starters. Crazy Deion Sanders played in the Sugar Bowl that quote unquote didn't matter. Yeah. It made an interception in the end zone to wrap up the game. Crazy that, and he was the 5th pick. Whatever that was, 4 months later.
Yeah. Upstate South Carolina, wake up, gentlemen. Going into this week has me nervous. The Virginia game feels like the classic trap game. Short week, first away game, coming right before a huge Miami showdown. Every team has games that are closer than they should be. Even our 2013 team had a scare in late December, or rather late September. We all remember that. With that said, I'm here for the discussion. Right now, today, I honestly feel better about beating Miami than Virginia. Prove me wrong. Thanks, guys. Go Noles.
Yeah, I expect them to win both, but they could lose both. There you go. How's that for a fence that you just sit right on? Virginia's not as good as Miami. They're not as talented on defense, especially the defensive line, as Miami. But their offense might be better, and it is on the road. And it is a fan base that will show up for that game for sure. And it is on a short week. So, they're both losable. They're both winnable. I think they'll be favored in both. The Miami game might be close to a pick-em or 1 or 2 points, but I think they'll be favored in both. Right now, Florida State's a 7.5-point favorite against Virginia on Friday night. It was 6.5, at least on the apps we look at. So it went up a point, so people are betting on Florida State to cover. No, it's still Miami. Miami's the tougher game.
Yes.
But I will say this. If you lose at Virginia, in no way, shape, or form does that dictate what happens 8 days later. We see it all the time. And, again, it's hard. It's just hard. Like the Falcons, man. This is so much – college football is getting so much like the NFL. Like the Falcons go – and I know it was J.J. McCarthy and not the great Carson Wentz that the Falcons got to play on Monday night or Sunday night whenever they played that game. But they beat a good Vikings team on the road. It kind of beat them convincingly. Did beat them convincingly. The next week, they get shut out by the Panthers 30-0. 30-0, which is an embarrassment, almost a fireable offense for that coaching staff. But it just goes to show how the ebbs and flows of these seasons. This game on Friday night, I expect to be very tough, and it is a losable game. If you go and lose to Virginia, even if you go lose 37-20, that by no means you can go and beat Miami the next week. We just see it all the time. It just was a bad game or a bad matchup. And maybe Miami's a better matchup. Maybe Carson Beck not being as mobile as the Morris kid is a better matchup for Florida State, or maybe you have a better matchup with their secondary. Who knows? I think they're both going to be tough. Right now, to the questioner, I kind of agree that if you're doing the weights in your hands, they both feel like they're, to me, like, I don't know, man, 60-40 Florida State wins, both of them. Like, that's how worried I am just about road games in general in conference on a short week against a decent team. But then, yeah, I think Florida State should be favored in both, but not by much. They're both going to be tough games.
We now have a full month of data, everybody. We're primed to make the bold picks. So are you. Join Corey and myself over at Underdog Fantasy this season to win off the field and win big. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Just make sure you pick a player for both teams in a given game and let your imagination or ambition take over. Also, Underdog affords the option to play responsibly. It allows you to play with as little as $1. Maybe you love college football, but maybe you've got a better feel for other sports. Well, all sports are available over at Underdog. UFC, soccer, tennis, Major League Baseball, and more. Download the app. It's Underdog Fantasy. And sign up with promo code WARCHANT to score $50 in bonus funds when you play with your first $5. That's promo code WARCHANT. Underdog Fantasy Sports must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 and older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. We are back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com, warchantbogo, your promo code. Summit 2001. Wake up, gentlemen. Loving this team. The talent, the personalities, the creativity, the staff, the wins. Saturdays are fun again. As we see which teams appear to be pretenders and which appear to be contenders, based on this moment, who would be your choice to play in the ACC Championship Game? Clemson. They sure look bad, but we know the talent is there somewhere. Miami, hard no. Cal, Georgia Tech, Virginia, Duke, Louisville. Cal looks good, but they're still Cal. If I have the power to choose, give me the Golden Bear Cubs. Yeah, that's the right answer. Yeah, I don't want Georgia Tech. I'm not afraid of Louisville. I mean, Duke would be fine too. I mean, I know that quarterback is supposed to be really ultra talented. They paid him a boatload of money, but it hasn't really paid off all that great for Duke so far. But yeah, I don't want any part really of a rematch against Miami, especially if they win the regular season matchup. The second one, and although it's not beating a team 3 times in one season, but yeah, just right now, again, people are saying Cal, despite the fact they got trounced last weekend against San Diego State because I think they already have maybe one conference win, and they avoid Miami, they avoid Clemson, they avoid us, and pretty much, I think maybe even Georgia Tech. So they seem to have like the easiest path. So yeah, for sure I would take Cal.
But didn't Cal just get boat raced by?
But it's not a conference loss though. It was San Diego State.
But I guess my thought process there though is why are we assuming any win for them is an automatic win? Okay, yeah, no, True. They don't play the hardest teams on the schedule. They're all going to be hard if you get boat raced by San Diego State. Like, why would we think they're just going to roll through the ACC if a mediocre San Diego State team beat them by 30 points? Yeah. They might win 2 games in the ACC this year, whether they have an easy schedule or not. I know that people like their quarterback, but he is a freshman, and he looked not good at all against San Diego State this past Saturday. So, again, I think we're way too early on that. I don't think we're way too early on Georgia Tech. That is a good coach, and that is a quarterback that goes and wins games when he's healthy. He is a competitor, and that's a good offense. But they lost like their top receiver too. I forgot. I think he transferred to Oklahoma. The speedster that they had last year.
Cal
no, Georgia Tech did.
No, he went to Auburn.
Cal lost
Singleton.
Back.
Eric Singleton.
Yeah, that's right. He was in that game. He was playing for Auburn. But yeah, man, I think Georgia Tech, because they don't play Miami or Florida State, and they already beat Clemson, so they have the tie break. Well, they have a 2-game lead on them now. I think that makes the most sense as the opponent in Charlotte. That's the question, right? Like, who would you rather see in Charlotte?
Yeah. By the way, Cal hasn't played an ACC game yet. They get BC, Duke, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Virginia, Louisville, Stanford, and SMU.
I mean, yeah. Why are we thinking they're just going to roll through that schedule? Right. They play. Who have they beaten? What's the deal with this?
Well, they beat Oregon State, who's off to the worst start in.
Yeah, they're horrible,
terrible. Yeah, it's sad. They beat Minnesota. They beat a Big Ten team by like 2 scores. So
okay, all right.
But it was at home. But yeah, no great signature wins. And then they got trounced.
So I'm not. So I'm not assuming they're going to be there. I think it's between. Look, I think it's between Louisville, Georgia Tech,
whoever wins the Miami Florida. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I asked if Florida State's there, who would they possibly face? I think it's those 3.
I'd take Louisville. Of those 3, I'd rather have Louisville, then Georgia Tech, then a rematch with Miami. And even if they beat Miami 35-10, I probably still would say I would at least want to play Miami in a rematch.
I just think if we're going to go ahead and hypothesize this all the way out, because I like to make up words, and Florida State is in the ACC Championship game, well, that means they're, 11-1 with a win over Miami? Probably.
Yeah.
If they're 11-1 or 12-0 with a win over Miami already, that they're already in Charlotte, who cares if you rematch against Miami? You're in the playoff.
True.
So there's nothing really to lose, even if you're 10-2. Well, if you're 10-2, you need to win the game. But if you've beaten Miami, it actually might be the best thing for you for Miami to be back in there with you again, because you won't get dinged as much for losing to a team you've already beaten. I don't think you'd get dinged, and there's a chance that both of you are going. If you lose to a 10-2 Louisville team, Louisville's going to take your spot in the playoff. I don't know that Miami just automatically takes your spot in the playoff. I think there's a chance y'all both go. So that's why I say it wouldn't be the end of the world to play Miami again, because I think maybe there'd be less pressure to actually win the game to get in the playoff, because you probably already got a nice firm spot in the playoff if you're there, and you've beaten Miami. But I could be wrong. Who knows? Florida State might go 3-9. I love that we're talking about it, though, legitimately. I love these conversations as opposed to the ones we were having this time last year.
Well, I guess let's kind of piggyback off that. Greenville's here, says, wake up, gentlemen. So far, so good, but some lingering questions after 3 weeks. And how do we really know about just how good or bad the teams are? But I'm just going to enjoy the wins as they come. This week should answer some questions. And like Corey has said, the atmosphere for that Miami game will be one for the ages. But share your expert opinions on what we know about the teams we will face as the season rolls along. I know. So Pitt lost the backyard brawl, choked it away. They were off this past week, and then they have I think they play Boston College. They've got 2 winnable ACC games. So they win those 2. I think Pitt could be a tricky game, just because even when Clemson was rolling, they lost to a bad Pitt team. They lost to a bad Syracuse team, and Pitt has an offense that can catch fire, and they've got some players on defense that can make your life a little bit uncomfortable. So, but too soon to tell on them. Clemson, they still have a lot of runway to get better, but that secondary is rough, and Cade Klubnik just doesn't look comfortable, and their running game is not nearly as strong as they thought, and I don't think those receivers are nearly as elite as they thought they were going to be, and that I thought they were going to be. Florida, who knows, man? Again, it could be the 3rd time they've had an interim coach going to this game in the last 12 years. A lot of the same things, at least offensively. Their running game has not really found its footing. I think they have a bunch of really good athletes at wide receiver. I don't know if they have any really good wide receivers playing wide receiver. I mean, Virginia Tech, they're on an interim coach right now. Wake Forest, first-year staff, they're coming to Tallahassee and not worried about that game. Stanford, they looked pretty gross against Virginia with Frank Reich on his way out. So it's hard to project any of those. But I just think Miami's going to be, it's a really tough, that's like a 27-24 game. I think it's whoever gets to 27 first probably wins. And I know Florida State's offense looked great, Corey, and Miami's offense hasn't necessarily looked great, but I just think Miami will have a couple drives where they'll probably use more than 3 minutes of clock, right? I don't know if Florida State's going to get all the possessions they've been getting here in recent weeks, and Miami's not going to cower the way that I think Alabama cowered when you punch them in the mouth. I don't think that's going to make Miami stronger. I don't think they're going to spawn in a way that's going to make Florida State shirk, but Listen, man, Alabama did not rise to the occasion at all. And that's credit to Florida State. A lot of it's credit to Florida State, but also they seemingly don't play really good on the road with Kalen DeBoer. And that was, we keep saying it was like, oh, one of his first starts. That was his first start, Ty Simpson. First start, defense with no film. This personnel never played together, and you're in this hostile environment. Not the best situation for success. So it's tough to kind of gauge how everyone is going to play until you actually line them up. But I think the Miami game is going to be really tough and an absolute freaking war. And that's what's going to make the Pitt game a little bit trickier, too, coming right after it.
Yeah, I definitely think the Miami game is going to be a war. I think what we know is that Miami has a very good front line, and a quarterback, if you give him time to throw, will pick you apart. And they've apparently they've got good wide receivers. Their best one is a freshman. I don't know if they've upgraded from what they had last year because they had some dudes last year too, but it sure feels like they're almost on par with what they had last year. Florida, if they're still together and still a football team by Thanksgiving, will be one of the best defenses you face, and it'll be in a tough environment. Same thing with Clemson. That's what I know right now. Clemson, no idea what their offense is. I absolutely trust their defense will still be good and still be playing hard. I think Florida's defense is very good. It's just a matter of their offense being horrible and if they've given up on the season. Other than that, and Miami's good. Miami, I think, is going to be the best team you face. They're going to have the best offensive line you face, maybe the best quarterback, and certainly the best pair of defensive ends that you're going to face. That's a real challenge. That's a legit playoff contender. Don't know if Clemson is. Don't know if Alabama is. Miami is a legit playoff contender. That's what we know. Everything else is still too early. Like, we don't even know what Virginia is. Yes, they've shown they have a very good offense, like Florida State has, but they played, Coastal Carolina and William and Mary. The best team they faced was North Carolina State, and they did score 31 on NC State, but they lost the game. Stanford is a very bad, in my opinion, ACC football team.
Correct.
Maybe the worst I guess them or Boston College. I know they beat Boston College, but Boston College gave them that game. I think Stanford is probably the worst team in the conference. Maybe Virginia Tech. So it helps that Florida State plays both of them. Mm-hmm. But we don't know really what Virginia is. It gets more and more. We figure it all out as the season goes. Right now, I think it's still too early. Other than Clemson's offense, Florida's offense are not good. Miami has a chance to be really, really good, and all three of those teams have legitimate defenses. They're gonna present challenges, in my opinion. It's not an expert opinion though. It's opinion though. I'm good at having opinions. I wouldn't call it an expert one.
What do you think the line's going to be for the Clemson game? By the time the dust settles and it's that game.
I mean, what was it in 23? I would assume similar to that. Unless Clemson just falls off a cliff. And I just don't expect that, man. It's a proud dude in a proud program. And I know they're at this inflection point right now. But I don't see Dabo, as much as I like to make fun of the guy and as insufferable as he can be with his whining and complaining, I don't see that guy just having a horrible football season. I just don't. And that's so.
I don't think you saw Mike Norvell having a horrible losing season either.
Yeah, but he didn't have the track record that Dabo does. Dabo's been there since 2008.
It is crazy when he rattled off all that stuff last week. He's like, we've won 8 of the last 10 conference championships. He's like, we've been in the national title game. He's like, we've been in the playoff 7 out of the last 10 years. We've been in the national title game 4 years. We won 2 of them. It's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, but again, the people that do that in the way I view the world and my history of listening to these things, the guys that have to spout off all their accomplishments are the guys that aren't accomplishing much anymore. The ones that keep, Kirby's not sitting there going, guys, do you know how many conference championships? He doesn't do that. He'll explain to people it's hard to win, but he's not sitting there unfurling the banners of everything he's won at Georgia. He's still too busy winning things at Georgia. And we saw it with Bowden, not to that extent, not to an insufferable extent that Dabo did. And mainly it was Bowden supporters more than Bobby himself. But when you start talking about the stuff you've accomplished in the past, that's usually a pretty good sign that the present is going downhill fast. But yeah, that said, obviously Clemson isn't the program they were 5 or 6 years ago. that's still a proud program, and it's going to be a tough game. And that guy is a good coach. He will get them ready. They've had dips before, maybe not like this. But to answer your question, that should have been a 4-word answer. I'll say Florida State by somewhere between 3 and 7.
Oh, that's a huge margin. 3-5. Sharpen your pencil. They were 1.5-point favorites against Clemson in 2023.
That's why Clemson had lost pretty badly at Duke to start that year.
Yep.
Florida State had crushed LSU. I know they had just survived Boston College, I think, but they had crushed LSU. They looked like one of the best teams of the country. Clemson looked like one of its worst teams in a decade. And what'd you say it was? 1.5?
1.5.
And guess who covered, baby? The Noles. The Keon and the Noles.
Over-under was 56. And because of overtime, it was 55 the total, 31-24. Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. That's why gambling's it's not for the weak-hearted, buddy.
It's not fair. Whether you're headed outdoors or out on date night, put on your Poncho Outdoors performance shirt and enjoy the breathable fabrics, functional pockets, and things like a microfiber lens cloth sewn into the hem of your shirt so that you can quickly and easily keep your shades clean, or in my case, eyeglasses. I'm rocking the ultralight that opts for a single breast pocket for a more crisp look, in my opinion. If you want a looser cut, they've got you covered with their regular fit, or try the slim fit for a more polished fit that works in all settings and still gives you that light, breezy feel. Compare this to a cotton polo, not even close. A golf polo, still not as light and comfortable as a shirt from Poncho Outdoors. Are you up north? Try the flannels and the soft, broken-in feel of their denim shirts. Poncho stands by every shirt, and they'll make it right if it's not your favorite. If you've been looking for the perfect shirt, something breathable that fits great, feels even better, and stands out in a good way, give Poncho a try. Go to ponchooutdoors.com/wakeup for $10 off your first order, and we'll give you free shipping and free returns, and you get that Poncho promise. It's PONCHO outdoors.com/wakeup to save $10 off your first order. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. WarchantBogo, your promo code. Use it. Profit. Buy one, get one free. We got a lot of questions, but we're going to kind of space it out. We got a little bit of a herky-jerky week with a Friday game and a lot of travel going on. We're going to try to get somebody from Cavs Corner on. I actually stop saying we're going to try. We will. I'm going to say I'm going to.
Dang right, yeah.
What is it called? Manifest it. I'm going to manifest it happening. So
yeah, speak it into existence.
There we
Quit
go.
being all wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Either do or do not. There is no try.
Right on.
I think Yoda said that.
Lincoln?
Either Yoda or Mr. Miyagi.
Okay. I thought it was Lincoln.
That's right.
I know. It was
Not
Yoda.
Jefferson, not Epps. It certainly wasn't Francis Epps that said that.
Random _ John. Good morning, Aslan and Corey. Be honest. What was the first thought that ran through your mind when Tommy's ankle got rolled? The fact that he didn't like limp off and then fall down and get back up, or like he didn't limp and get to the sideline and then crumple. The fact that he was able to like one-legged hop all the way, like you said yesterday, Corey, like all the way from like the far hash to the bench. Actually, I'm like it hurts, but nothing that I don't think an ice bag can heal. My mind did not instantly go to like, oh no, not us again. Truthfully, it didn't. I'm like, I think he'll be fine.
Mine had no. I certainly didn't. I thought he'd be fine when I saw him walking back to the locker room, and then obviously when he ran back onto the sideline, I thought that was a good sign. But no, the fact that he hobbled off so fast,
yeah,
to me was a bad sign because he wasn't putting any weight on the ankle that mattered, and he was jumping. He was in a real hurry to get to the sideline. To me, it looked like. And that's like, well, that's not good. He needs this thing looked at right away. He knows his body. I'm sure he's had an ankle twisted in his life. He's probably broken some bones in his life. Certainly felt a lot of pain. The fact that he appeared to be in some significant pain is what concerned me. And yeah, I mean, I've been doing this long enough that I didn't have an immediate reaction like, okay, he's done for the season. He'll be back in 5 plays. I was like, yeah, that could be dicey. And the immediate reaction is, what is this team without him? What chance do they have to win either of these next 2 games if Castellanos isn't their quarterback? And my thought was very low. So the fact that they don't have to think that is great. Here's the question, though, Aslan. Who is faster? Let's say they both start at midfield and they're running to the end zone.
Okay.
The DJU that we saw in Dublin are Tommy Castellanos hopping on one leg. The way he moved to the sideline after that injury, what was faster, DJU running or Tommy hopping on one leg?
I think DJ gets him in the last 10 yards. I think he gets fatigued just jumping on one leg.
Yeah, his right leg.
But I think the first 30 yards, it's all Tommy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It would be much like Dan, and then it'd be like Danzy chasing me down in the 400. And look, Tommy can go fast on one leg. And also, I want to point out, DJU was hurt. He was not himself. He was banged up. DJU, when he's healthy, can move a little bit. He is not a slow-footed Tom Brady type. He is a mobile athlete. He just was not that guy for Florida State at all, sadly.
All right, last question for today. A reminder, man, we have a really busy Tuesday for you, everybody. If you love sports and you love Florida State sports, we are the ultimate Seminole sports source. So we got football interviews around 11:30. Looks like we're going to speak to Link and 4 baseball players. We're going to get Wes Mendez. We're going to get Miles Bailey, Ben Barrett, and I think Cal Fisher and Link. And then I think the Luke Laux era truly begins on later today with their first practice of the season. So we'll be able to speak to Luke and then maybe a player or two. So, I mean, come on, tap in, as the kids say. Subscribe, hit the thumbs up, all that kind of stuff.
What did you think of my Slack message to Ira?
You're right. That's accurate. Completely accurate.
So it was basically like Ira was like, should we record headlines in the morning? If you guys don't know, and some of you probably don't, we don't do enough cross-promotional stuff. I'm also on a podcast with Jeff Cameron and Ira that's a weekly podcast called Seminole Headlines that we've been doing for 15 years now. Wow. That is usually Tuesdays Tuesdays from 1 to 3 in studio. And Ira asked if we should record in the morning so we could be there for baseball interviews, and my response was no. Not just because I don't want to get up, but no offense to Link, no offense to Luke, but Seminole Headlines when the football team is undefeated. Seminole Headlines is better when we're all in studio anyway, but football takes precedent, even over the first day of basketball practice, certainly over a fall baseball practice. Seminole Headlines takes precedent because we're going to be talking a lot about football. And sorry, Link, sorry, Luke, we love you. You know we're going to be there. We're Warchant. We're always there for you. But maybe, y'all couldn't have done it Monday. Y'all had to do it Tuesday, so sorry. But anyway, so tune in to Seminole Headlines, guys, if you don't already.
Can't replicate the energy of live, too. I mean, I know being in the studio is one thing, but actually doing it live. Because you can, I know you
Bill
guys.
O'Reilly said it best, right?
Yeah. I mean, you guys still do it in one take, even when you record it. But, you got a little bit of a safety net underneath you when you're doing it, as opposed to being live. So
yeah, and we can't look at each other in the eyes because we're all in front of our computers. It's just not the same.
Oh, that's right. You guys can't go into the studio because the studio is being used.
No, it's used. Yeah, so we'd have to do it on our computers, and I'm like, that's just not the same. Yeah. And this team is too good right now. Right. This team is too good, period. And we got too many big games coming up to let baseball and basketball dictate Seminole Headlines. That's just my thought. We'll see if I get outvoted.
All right, last one. We got, again, plenty of these left, and we'll spread them out throughout the remaining shows that we have. Probably not going to be doing a live show this week, but we'll have 5.
That's on me. That's on me, everyone.
Hey, you're going to Charlottesville, Virginia to cover the game. It makes sense. Wadata _80. High-powered offenses are always entertaining, but this particular team brings a unique energy that makes them especially enjoyable to watch. That said, I've got a question for you two gentlemen. I know it's still early in the season, but Mike Norvell appears to be thriving in his role as CEO of the program. Let's imagine a scenario. Gus stays a few more years, moves on to Arkansas, retires, or hits the Powerball and vanishes from the coaching world entirely. In that case, do you think Mike has the humility and self-awareness to recognize that his strength lies in leading the program from a high level rather than getting involved in the day-to-day play calling? Could he continue to empower his coordinators to do what they do best while he focuses on the broader vision and culture?
Well, I guess it depends on how this season ends up, but I absolutely think he can. I mean, he was willing to do it, but again, obviously I know he was willing to do it after 2-10. He better have been willing to do anything. I think we know Gus isn't going to be here till he's 70. He'll be leaving after a few years. It'll be very interesting what the next hire is. I do think Mike is better at this role.
I think he likes this better too, man. I don't know. I have a feeling he likes this better. Like, listen, 2023 was fun for him too, but I think he likes this better because
he's got to be able to trust who's running the offense, though, right?
Very true. Yeah.
And it is such a unique hire when you're hiring Gus Malzahn, who has proven more on coaching offense in college football than anybody alive, probably. He's been doing it longer than most, and he's accomplished a lot. So it's one thing to hire that guy, a guy that hired you, by the way, when you were a GA 20 years ago and gave you your start in college football. It's one thing to trust him. Of course you trust him. You've known him for 20 years. You've followed his career. You have a relationship with him. And he's been a head coach in the SEC and won things. It's one thing to trust that guy. It's another thing to trust the Brennan Marions of the world. Again, I'm only using him because he was the name that was brought up a lot back when we knew they were going to be making a new hire. He was the OC at UNLV. He's now the head coach at Sacramento State. Like, is Mike Norvell – it's one thing to give the keys to Gus Malzahn. It's another thing to give the keys to someone you don't know as well or doesn't have the track record. And that's what's going to be fascinating to watch. Who is he going to give who is he willing to give the keys to? Like he gave them to Dillingham, right? We think?
Yeah.
Like it seemed like that was Dillingham's offense.
It was.
But he had a history and a relationship with Dillingham. When Dillingham left, he took it back over to varying degrees of success, let's say. I wonder. I think he will go get himself somebody he can trust to just run the offense and he can stay in this capacity. But I'm not 100% certain of that because I don't know who he's going to hire. Maybe he just misses calling plays and game planning. I hope he doesn't because this offense is a lot more fun to watch than the I'll even say it, than the 2023 one.
And the 2022 one.
Even the 2022 one. I think it's more high-functioning. I think you've got more weapons. I think you've got more angle. You create more leverage on these running plays. You can hit from a bunch of different angles. I just, that the 2024 one, even erasing that from our memory like we all should, the 2023 one was a lot of, Trey Benson's really good. By the way, Trey's going to be a starting running back in the NFL now. Keon Coleman's really good. Oh, and the quarterback makes a lot of great throws and reads. But it didn't seem like it wasn't schemed up great all the time, right?
Yeah.
Would you say? Like
That's fair.
I was not as impressed with the scheme as I was with the players. In this one, I'm impressed a lot more with the scheme than I even am with the players, and I think the players are all really good. It's just it's a different offense. Malzahn works at a different level than even Norvell did, and Norvell's proven to be really good at it. He had a team that was top 5 in the scoring in the country at Memphis, and he also won 19 games in a row calling plays at Florida State. I'm telling you, I know it's only 3 games. I don't remember seeing these kind of plays, even when it was going well under Mike Norvell. But you think about the play to Lucas, the long pass to Lucas down the sideline against Alabama, right. The Danzy end arounds, just Tommy being Tommy, the pace, how quick they go. Like Danzy goes and catches a 65-yard pass down the middle of the field, puts the ball down, and is like a squirrel looking, waiting, where do I go? I got to go quick, and getting lined up. He doesn't sit there and put his hands up for 20 seconds and knows he's got 30 seconds till the next play starts. He knows the rest of the offense is running as fast as they can downfield to snap the ball as quickly as they can. It's just a fun offense to watch. But Norvell's probably would have been 2 against Kent State and East Texas A&M, let's be honest.
Yeah, but not to that level, like you said.
Probably not.
You
no.
never – I mean, I'm trying to think. They looked okay against Duquesne in 2022, right? But they weren't – I don't think they were this level of efficiency the way they –
Well, look, how about the Southern Miss game where they beat the bejesus out of that team? It never functioned like what it has functioned so far. Through 3 games against 2 really bad teams and maybe a really good team, I get it. I'll qualify it all, but Gus knows what he's doing, man. He's next level when it comes to just the game planning and scheming up stuff and calling plays. He's very, very, very good at it.
I wonder how much of, on the way out, kind of, everything is just so, NFL was the copycat league. Feel like college football is kind of going that level too. And if you think about it, we're part of the same boat as what Oklahoma's doing, right? And I guess we all kind of copied what Vanderbilt did, where it's you're getting the coach and the quarterback to come to your school, right? To fill in the gap or whatever. So whenever Gus moves on, it's like, all right, Mike probably goes and finds like a really good coordinator who's got a quarterback with a couple of years of eligibility to come in and help out, because what Oklahoma's doing with John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle, Utah, I know Utah lost to Texas Tech, but Utah went and got New Mexico's quarterback and the head coach. Vanderbilt got Pavia from, I think, New Mexico or New Mexico State and like his coordinator. So I think this gives Mike some more flexibility in terms of I don't think, to your point, Corey, to be able to find someone who you can trust that has a track record of Gus Malzahn, I don't know how often that's going to present itself. But there's probably a good amount of guys that have had 1 or 2 years of good success with a particular quarterback, and that quarterback has time left. I mean, and you think about Gus and Tommy kind of coming together in a very similar vein. I think that is kind of the path forward I would think he's going to kind of adopt.
You hope. Again, I just think it's such a unique hire that we don't know who's going to be on the next on his radar the next time he has to hire an OC. I certainly hope that the way it's working right now, I hope he enjoys what he's doing in this new role. I think it fits him pretty well, honestly. Actually, I think it fits him really well. I just think his personality in wanting to lead an entire program and not just have his head in a play sheet, I think that's where he shines. I think that's where he could be, depending on how this thing rolls the next few years, he could end up being one of the greats, in this capacity. Why is Dabo great at it, but Mike Norvell can't be? Dabo's never called a play in his life. And, hey, he'll be the first to tell you. They've won 8 out of 10 conference championships. They've been in the playoffs 7 out of 10 years. They've won some national championships around there. Why is Dabo perfect for something like that? But Norvell has to be the guy that's calling plays. If he would let himself be a Dabo or a Bobby Bowden later in his life, he could be really, really good. As long as he makes good hires and gets good players.
All right, that's a wrap for us. But again, as Corey said, that podcast that's been going on for 15 years called Seminole Headlines, that'll be live at 1 to 3 o'clock. We'll have content up on warchant.com before then as we talk to Mike Norvell and a few players. We'll also make our way to Dick Howser Stadium as well as the TLCCC. We'll get some baseball news and notes, some basketball news and notes, and maybe we'll talk about all that on tomorrow's show as well as we continue to get ready for the ACC opener for the number 8 ranked Florida State Seminoles. Feels good to say that, undefeated Florida State Seminoles. Until next time, everybody, stay connected to warchant.com. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe. We'd appreciate it. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com.